If you're in midlife, doing a lot of this, trying to get rid of belly fat, there's a better way. And number one, this is not the way. Doing crunches or sit-ups, number one, not the best exercise, but any core exercise targets weak abdominals, doesn't target fat. And we can't spot reduce. We can spot tone, spot strengthen, but that's not what you're after. And actually, for some women, the more core exercise you do, the thicker their waist may get. I do have the answer though. Here's 5 reasons and 5 solutions to losing that belly fat or avoiding it in the first place. I'm Deborah Atkinson, founder of Living 50. Let's go. Here's a hint. Almost all of these have to do with improving your blood sugar levels. That's right, because blood sugar levels increasing are a reflection of cortisol when you're under stress. And if we combine cortisol, high blood sugar, and insulin that is supposed to reduce blood sugar, cortisol and insulin are belly fat bullies. It's gonna go right here. I'll bet if you think about this, you've noticed it. When you're in high times of stress, high stress right now in midlife, where maybe when you were younger this didn't happen at all, you actually are gaining weight. You're feeling a little bit more fluffy. You got a little bit more padding in the cushions. That's blood sugar. So we're going to talk about how you reduce and improve your blood sugar levels. Number one, before meals, add a tablespoon or 2. One is good to a glass of water. Now, don't just take a shot of the apple cider vinegar. But apple cider vinegar will help, and it's proven based on research to reduce blood sugar spikes that occur naturally after meals. Normally we eat, blood sugar levels go up more or less depending on what you ate, and that's normal and natural. But if blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. When you're in insulin, high insulin, you're in fat storage. And your body can't both be in fat burning, which most of us want to be, and in fat storage, and it will choose fat storage. Apple cider vinegar has shown to decrease, to kind of hold down the blood sugar spikes after a meal. So you have that right before any meal. 20 to 30 minutes is fine. If you don't think of it until then, and you're doing it right before, that's okay too. Here's my trick. I do that because I know that caffeine in the morning spikes my blood sugar, and I've decided I don't want to give it up. So cheers, about that much. And that's what it looks like. Your water looks dirty, that's all. Other ways to fit apple cider vinegar into your diet are use it. So a little olive oil, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That's a salad dressing, and I use that simple salad dressing frequently on just leafy greens, cucumbers, things fresh out of the garden. That's another way to go. Try to decrease your overall stress level. You need to try to remove yourself from situations and maybe from people who are just not good for you. Try to surround yourself with people and animals that are good for you. This is really the time to take really good care of yourself and maybe take inventory. So if it's your work, if it's your family members and people that you can't cut yourself off from, this is a really great time to take some inventory of your work, the people who you hang out with most often. Now, if that's your family, your immediate family, you may not be able to do anything about that, but you may need to know extended family members or friends that you've been hanging out with, maybe out of habit. Take another look at whether that they're good for you and whether you feel good after you spend time with them. Okay, and then don't forget, exercise is stress. So surround yourself with things, people, pets, reading books, music that makes you smile. Let me look at this. This one may or may not shock you. So a lot of times we say fat, want to get rid of fat. A lot of people think high intensity interval training because it's been touted as the fat burner, but it's not the holy grail of fat burning if you're already highly stressed. If you are either tired all the time or you're just wired all the time, you type A's, you go get them, you can count on me. That's most women. high intensity interval training may not be what you want right now. Now, if it's working for you, fantastic, but you're probably not tuned into this video if it's working for you. Don't underestimate the value of walking. So low level exercise. Yep, a brisk walk works great, better potentially than just a slow slog. However, walking 10 minutes after each and every meal actually has the biggest benefit for reducing those blood sugar levels. Remember, we talked about the importance of blood sugar levels, so keep that in mind. Those 10 minutes, not just throughout the day, but after a meal. Your blood sugar is probably gonna spike about 30 minutes after. For me, it's that caffeine in the morning, and I know it's gonna happen, so I go out for a walk. And I don't have necessarily time to break away throughout the day, but I'll try to get another walk in after dinner if possible, or I'm playing with the dog out in the yard, still moving, super important. But I want you to remember this, exercise is stress. So we're putting that imposed, calculated stress on our bodies, and yet women in midlife have to remember we're already under a lot of stress from hormonal changes, and we're in midlife storm a lot of times. Young kids, adult kids, older aging parents, careers, just a lot of perfect storm things going on. Throw into that a pandemic, your hormones changing so that your muscle is dropping, your fat is going up. It's all a little chaotic. And when estrogen goes down at menopause, cortisol goes up. So you already are not going to respond and deal with exercise in the same positive way that you used to. So it may take a little less. Maybe it's shorter duration when you go really hard. Maybe it's lower intensity when you're going out for a walk. You may find going for a walk helps you lose fat more than going for a run. I know, strange, because we used to say, well, running's gonna burn more calories, that must be it. But watch and trust this. Your job is to help balance your hormones. It's not about burning calories, it's what those calories, whether eaten or burned, do to your hormones. So if you have more cortisol and more insulin, that means more belly fat. Trust me, I know. I was training for an iron distance triathlon a few years ago. Now you would think with lots and lots of exercise, I'd be losing weight, but I didn't. So as a midlife woman, right smack in the middle of menopause, I gained 10 to 12 pounds, 12 to 14 actually, if you ask me on a bad day, and struggled to get that off. So that was all stress weight. So don't be me. Took one for the team. Trust me on that one. Think about heavy weight training, high intensity weight training. That means fewer repetitions to muscle fatigue. Your sessions can be shorter, not longer. So think of volume as the heavy and get more sets. It's like 3 or 4 sets of say 5 or 6 repetitions. So much better than more exercises, more different exercises, or more repetitions of exercise. That's gonna help your stress level. And the more muscle you have, muscle is like a sponge for blood sugar, and you're going to move more muscle, and keep that blood sugar level low. Less belly fat for you. Change the order of the food you're eating. Look, we can probably all say there's room for improvement in exactly what we're eating, but making too many changes at once, not ideal. So let's talk about holidays. When holidays approach, if you're gonna have the potatoes and the stuffing and the corn and the rolls, think about moving those till last and instead focus on the turkey or the ham or whatever it is at your house and the green beans and the cauliflower and pea salad first. So it's protein and veggies. The veggies will help coat your gut with some of that fiber, and the protein adds to earlier satiety, but it also blunts the impact of carbohydrates. It's the carbs that tend to spike your blood sugar. So eating in that order will make everything a little bit lower on the blood sugar spike. Now, if you're sitting down to say a bowl full of chili, you're getting carbs in the beans, you're getting protein in the meat, you're getting non-starchy vegetables in the tomatoes. But here's the deal. You don't have to try to separate it out and eat the beans last, because in the beans you're getting fiber and you're getting protein as well as carbohydrates. You're probably going to be just fine. Just make sure when you're making it maybe compared to what you used to do, you're gonna make it with a little bit more meat and a little bit less of the beans, but still there. Protein and fiber together are craving killers. Your body's gonna love it. So will your belly, just not your belly fat. Even when you do have to be sedentary, try to move as much as possible throughout the day. Like I'm sitting on a desk bike, and it's actually been one of my favorite things. Never ever did I think this would be something I wanted. But I don't know about you, I can't do a desk treadmill and see what I'm doing or focus on what I'm doing. I think I'm fairly coordinated, but that just didn't work for me. This has been amazing for scoping through emails, returning those, ditching those, and watching webinars, even hopping on coaching calls. I'm probably moving by pedaling very lightly, just pedaling under the radar. You can't even hear it. It's super quiet. But I don't need to break a sweat, and I don't need to get breathless. Nobody needs to know necessarily that I'm on this, but you're still moving enough to impact your blood sugar level. And I also mentally feel far more alert during the day. So see what your tricks are. You may not have a desk bike, you may not have a treadmill desk, and maybe you work for somebody else, but nobody can prevent you from getting up, going to the bathroom, refill your water bottle, take your time, walk down the hall, deliver the information in person as opposed to emailing it to somebody down the hall. All of those things will help you. Try to get up 2 or 3 times during the morning and 2 or 3 times at least during the afternoon. Studies show that doing that movement throughout the day actually decreases blood sugar spikes that occur naturally after meals by 17%, even though the movement was 2 to 5 minutes long and far away from meal time. So think about that. What can you do, even just for a few minutes, that'll help you reduce your blood sugar levels? And here's how you can tell. So I wear a continuous blood glucose monitor periodically. I'll do it for 28 days and then maybe take a break and not do it again for several months, applying what I learned. So by testing, how do I do when I do the apple cider vinegar compared to last week when I didn't do that prior to each meal? How do I do when I go for a walk after my caffeine and after each meal compared to when I don't do that? Making tweaks in the order and the sequence of the foods that you eat versus when you don't. You can test each one of those and see what the difference is. Looking at day to day, looking at immediately, did I spike after a certain meal or food or activity or sleepless night? It's all a factor in what happens with your belly fat. So if you want to go to fat belly if you want to go from fat belly to flat belly, all those little tricks are going to help you far more than any core exercise. You need a strong core, but the strong core is not necessarily going to help you lose the belly fat. Let me know if that was helpful. Let me know which of those you already apply, and let me know if you'd like more information about the continuous blood glucose monitor. I'll put the one that I use down below.